are Unionbank of the Philippines, the Philippines' best digital bank. In the recent Bank Quality Consumer Survey on retail banks last April, we were ranked number 2 of the most helpful banks in Asia Pacific during the COVID-19 crisis and is the only Philippine bank in the top 20 list. Because of the pandemic, it has become crucial that our products and services quickly adapt to the challenges presented in this new digital normal.
To pose now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down.
Pasig would like to thank its partners, our co-presenter, Unionbank and the UBP Accelerator Program, our organization partners, ISEC, the Ateneo Chemistry Society, Climate Change Commission Philippines, CLUP, Greenpeace, ICLAY, Make Sense, Cyrecycling, and WeTech. Our thought leadership partners, Atma Prema Wellbeing Group, Pixera Global, Sakai, and the World Wildlife Fund. Our media partners, A Dose of Intensity, Business World, Manila Bulletin, Rappler, Sustainarumble, The Philippine Star, OneInManila.com, and Rank Magazine.
Another day, another chance to be the change. Good morning, everyone. This is Trish Esteban, and we're already on our day 3 of our Climathon Pasig week. For the past 2 days, we had talks that focused on our 3 design challenges, from reducing GHG emissions to urban mobility to waste management. We also took a peek into the video pitches of our 10 teams who joined Climathon Pasig for 2021. Such dynamic ideas indeed, and I cannot wait to find out who will win this year. So watch out for our announcements, which will be happening live this Friday, October 29, same time at 10 a.m. But before all of that, today, we will talk about sustainable development. We will be hearing from 2 professionals who are leading efforts to make our city and our world a better place to live in. Our first speaker is a sustainability and reputation management practitioner with over 18 years of experience in various leadership roles in energy, infrastructure, holding, and banking companies. Today, he heads the Sustainability, CSR, and Employee Relations Unit of the HR Group of Unionbank of the Philippines. His career purpose is to enable people and organizations to learn a new path to sustainability, shifting the mindset so people are empowered to make small acts that collectively create innovative solutions for a better world. And of course, apart from being our speaker, he is also one of the members of the jury for this year's Climathon Pasig. Everyone, please welcome our friend, Mr. Dave Daviles.
Hello, good day to you, Climathon participants. I'm so excited to join you today and share with you what we have been doing in the bank and, of course, how the bank has been helping Climathon Pasig achieve its sustainability goals. And as you all know, we really are an avid supporter of Pasig City, being our host LGU or local government unit here in Ortigas Center. But our partnership goes a long, long way back, I think. And thanks to Carla, who has been very active in involving Union Bank. And from our end, we're just so happy to be part of this global initiative, which ultimately will help Filipinos design solutions that will help our planet. So this 2021 is kind of special because this is also the year when the bank really has enhanced its sustainability mission, and it really jives with what Climathon wants to achieve. So for this year, we're just so happy that we are supporting you in this endeavor. And I'm looking forward to finding out who's going to win in the Climathon. Malay natin na manalo tayo and then pasa sa global. Kasi I think after the Philippines round, the global contest naman would select. And I believe last year umabot tayo sa top 3, one of the entries from the Philippines. So looking forward to that. Okay, so let me just share with you today what Union Bank has been doing in terms of sustainability. And we are happy to announce to you that our mission is called Tech Up Pilipinas. And you'll probably wonder, for a bank, why is Union Bank pursuing sustainability? And I'll tell you more in my story today. Okay, and as you can see on the next slide, I would like to share with you what is Tech Up Pilipinas. So you've probably heard about triple bottom line, right? People, planet, and profit. But for Union Bank, we leveled it up. And more than the profit, we said we can probably repurpose it and make it a purpose statement. So for Union Bank, it's about people, planet, and purpose. Okay, and how do we operationalize that? By leveraging on the bank's digital transformation strategy and at least our success in innovation, we would like now to offer our value proposition when it comes to sustainability. And our battle cry will be Tech Up Pilipinas. So as you know, our focus will be on people, building the capability, influencing the mindsets, and eventually shaping a behavior that will help us co-create or co-design solutions that will eventually help the planet. For a bank, our obvious inroad to this mission is to help fund or to finance operations or businesses or customers that are into designing efficient products or into businesses that are into generating employment, because we believe that if we focus on building the capability of people, they themselves can have the capability to design products, programs, and services that will help the environment. So it's Union Bank's proposition, and I must say, kind of unique because rather than go the tree planting environmental route, we are going for let's build the knowledge of people so that they will know how to plant the tree, for example, how to make it more sustainable so that it won't die after planting. And the best part here is how might we finance their endeavor to make a livelihood out of the trees that they planted, so to speak. So that's the overall idea of Union Bank sustainability. Okay, so let me just walk you through on the rationale why we said we will go into this Tech Up Pilipinas mission. And as you know, uh, in the environment sphere, we found out, and this is backed by data, that the Philippines isn't really a big carbon emitter. Yet, yet, our country is one of the places here in the planet that receives the highest impact because of high carbon emissions, right? That causes extreme weather events. So there's something that we need to do about it. And for Union Bank, no, it's really about how might we now influence or set up mechanisms so that our stakeholders will be able to prepare or to be better equipped to handle, to adapt, or to mitigate such changes in our climate. And so that's what we have been working on today. And you'll be happy to know that we responded to the clarion call on climate action. And the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas here in the Philippines, they are now mandating the banks to set up a sustainable finance framework. And luckily for Union Bank, even before that mandate from BSP, we have already been setting up our planet programs, right? From setting up, LEED certified buildings in our branches by going digital, paperless. We are not consuming much paper already in the transactions that you, our customers, are doing with us. We're managing energy efficiency. We've been buying electricity from renewable energy sources. As a matter of fact, our headquarters in Ortigas is powered by geothermal power. So a lot of things we've starting small, but we believe that these are small things that when you take together will create a higher impact there. We are also cognizant that we should keep up with the governance framework because the bank is a highly regulated industry, right? And we subscribe to regulatory mandates and we follow rules because for a bank, our commodity is trust. And if the trust is lost, we cannot pursue our digital transformation strategy. So it really goes hand in hand. And as you know, when we talk about sustainability, there are actually three components. ESG. The E, we've already mentioned about that earlier. And then before going to S or the social, I would like to focus on G first because for a bank, that takes center stage as well. Integrity, ethical practices, and how we are organized because all of these are the structural foundation of the bank so that we can pursue our sustainability mission of taking up Pilipinas. So for a bank, we are going into digital transformation, right? We need to beef up our cybersecurity because once we've reinforced or we've strengthened that aspect of our operations, we will continue to earn the trust of our customers and stakeholders. And of course, compliance wise, the bank will not have a problem. So it is important for us also to think of the G in the ESG, right? Uh, and more than that, I guess once we've established the benchmark, the metrics for us when it comes to governance, is also to help influence our partners and suppliers to adhere to the governance standards and principles that the bank is also doing. So I guess in the sustainability behavior modeling, it's also important that you influence your partners to become more sustainable via governance, right? So now that we've set up the E and the G, I would like to go to the S or the social, or for us, it's the people aspect of sustainability. And here's what we will do. Union Bank has been at the forefront of digital transformation, at least here in the Philippine banking sector, right? And over the years, since we've started 6 or 5 years ago with our digital transformation, we have succeeded in some areas. As you know, there's blockchain already. We've beefed up our financial infrastructure. We've used technology to make it easier for you to do your banking transactions. And as a matter of fact, during the pandemic, it was so much easier for us to shift to virtual ways for us to convince the customers to do digital banking, and it was safer for you, right? You didn't have to go out and to fall in line in the branches of our bank, in our branches, just for you to withdraw your money, because with one click of your hand you are able now to do that safely in the comfort of your home. And that's technology for you. Now imagine if we apply that principle for social good. And that's why we are so excited and always supportive of Climathon, because it will probably be one of your ideas leveraging on technology and innovation that could help us design such efficient products. And if it's efficient, it will use less resources, natural resources. And we are always on the lookout for that. Who knows, we can actually fund your idea so that it will become operationalized, probably commercialized, who knows, and at the same time create more social good, greater good for many people, right? So our proposition here is build the capability of people. And the Climathon, this ideathon or hackathon that we've been doing, is one way for us to do just that. So, it's harnessing the collective ideas of people, because we believe in co-creating innovations with you so that we can come up with solutions for a better world. And this is just one way for us to do that. The key here is really to educate and collaborate, and we build the capability so that later on, all of us can reap the benefit of that collective achievements of your ideas. So for us, we are big in investing in the training of our people. So we've started with Blockchain 100 in Union Bank, and that was our experiment. When we were starting on our digital transformation, we couldn't find talents. If there were talents, they are abroad and they are quite expensive at the time. So we said, how about we build our pipeline of talents? And so the Blockchain 100 was born. We trained about 100 cadets in blockchain learning, and we've actually hired half of them. And because of that, we were able to produce a lot of products, one of which you're enjoying right now, the Union Bank mobile app. Right? I will also share with you another product that came about because of that, and it involves connecting small rural banks, and with the use of blockchain technology, we were able to make it easier for their customers to transact banking, especially for overseas Filipino workers. It really shortened the time to send and remit money for their family if their family is located in an island or in a far-flung province where there is no Union Bank branch. And that's why the premise here is with the use of technology, we're able to provide, social good for everyone. So there, Teca Pilipinas for Union Bank is a people-centered sustainability strategy. And by focusing on teching up or building the capability, teaching them how to do innovation, it doesn't necessarily have to be digital, because innovation can also involve a small iteration in your process, but it brings immense benefits. So we are also about innovation, and not just, the digital, but overall process improvement, designing new ways of doing things. So we are after that. So if we believe that if we are able to do that, our partners, our customers, and our stakeholders will have the mindset and the passion and the heart and the capability to actually design products, programs, and services that will help Mother Earth. So kind of long stretch, but if you think about it, that's a better way, because it's more long term and it's more sustainable, because if we educate and build the capability of people, there is hope that it will really last long. So just like what we say, digital transformation isn't about the technology, it's about the people who will use the technology. And if you don't equip them, the technology won't really give you much benefit, because it's really the people who will put the purpose behind the technology, right? And so that's what we want here to do. For us to be able to do that, we are focusing on three areas, right? And as you can see on the screen, we are going to tech up in these three focus areas. The first one will be on digital transformation. It's about people tech. So we are replicating our model in building the talents internally, right? And today, we are offering courses for Filipinos. If you are interested in retooling yourself, in learning basic blockchain, business blockchain, API, even project management, we have a program called Accelerator. And if you're interested, you can avail of such learning modules for free. You can type in Google Union Bank Accelerator Program, and you can actually learn more about what we do. So that's digital transformation, because we believe in, retooling, reskilling. It doesn't matter if you're 15 years old or 50 years old, you can actually relearn or unlearn your skills, right? And through the accelerator program, we are hoping to do just that, right? Because we believe that the experience and the success we've had internally when it comes to teaching digital skills to our employees can be replicated for our communities. So that's one aspect, right? Another is, well, you will call it the hardcore banking sustainability effort. and sustainable finance, I'm happy to say Union Bank has the framework already. As a matter of fact, we've just recently launched our social bond to the tune of $150 million subscribed by the International Finance Corporation. And that amount will now benefit around 2,000 Filipino entrepreneurs because we thought, in the time of rehabilitation and rebuilding during the pandemic, if we help the small businesses here in the Philippines, there is a better chances for us to, get back on our feet faster. Because imagine one entrepreneur can employ at least 10 people, right? And if we help that entrepreneur, it can jumpstart his business and the multiplier effect happens. So we are focusing on social sustainability and the social bond. That's on top of the green bonds that I think you guys are more familiar with. But there's this thing called social bond. And we're so happy to share with you that Union Bank has just done that. So that's just an example on the area where Union Bank is creating an impact. And lastly, we also believe on inclusive prosperity. So what good is a technology if it doesn't help people who are not banked, who are unbanked or underbanked, right? So one, because we've already set up the mindset, there's a technology and you've transformed digitally. And there is support when it comes to financing investments. The next thing for us is to continue holding your hand so that it's not just a one-time activity for us. Throughout the process you grow, and if you grow you will continue to support. I mean, if you grow you will continue to avail of the bank's products and services, right? So it's really a continuous cycle, and if you succeed, of course we will be happier because we will be retaining you as our customer, right? But that's just the basic. Ultimately, what we really want to happen is for a lot of Filipinos to also become prosperous. As the bank prospers, because we've digitally transformed, we also want our stakeholders to experience the same. How do we do that? Of course, our focus now is on MSMEs. MSMEs, because we found out in our research that about 90% of employment here in the Philippines is generated by MSMEs. So we need to provide that much support to this segment of our society, of our economy, because, I guess, uh, like I said, it has a multiplier effect, right? And luckily for Union Bank, we do have a subsidiary called City Savings Bank, and a few more banks, Bangko Kabayan, PR Savings Bank, and even PetNet, Money Remittance Center, that is doing this. So people or customers that the Union Bank branches cannot reach, in the transition now, we do have City Savings Bank who can help us reach more people in the provinces. And the transition happens when we get to engage with them and teach them how to use digital banking services. And so that's just one of the things that we are trying to do. So in summary, three focus areas: digital transformation, sustainable finance, and inclusive prosperity, right? There you go. I won't bore you with the details, but this is something that you can find in our sustainability report. But just a snapshot of our Tech Up Pilipinas performance indicators. This is the 2020 snapshot. In this screen, you can see the impact areas of our Tech Up Pilipinas. So you can see here that we're serious in investing in the capability. As you can see, we've invested about 14.41 million pesos in the training of our people. We've partnered with organizations that are also using innovation and technology to help other people through our CSR, right? And of course, we've also invested 25.64 million in our lead certified branches and operations. Not included here yet would be our upcoming Union Bank Innovation Campus, soon to rise in San Pedro, Laguna. By April, I think we will start the inauguration, because we've started the groundbreaking this year, and hopefully by then, in time for the stockholders meeting, Union Bank will open the innovation campus. And I guess that's also a demonstration of our commitment to really build the capability of our stakeholders. We've also set up loans that are friendly in terms of rates, no, for entrepreneurs. We have the CCAP loans, we have our MSME loans, and as you can see on the screen, City Savings Bank has already disbursed about 53.1 billion pesos for microfinance and teachers loans and so on and so forth. We've also partnered with rural banks so that they will be connected to the national financial infrastructure. So we've had about around 181 financial institutions signing up with our blockchain powered financial infrastructure that allows small rural banks to connect more people as part of their customer base, right? So that's it. I would like now to go to some of the stories, proof points of how we are faring so far with our Tech Up Pilipinas mission, right? So remember I said we are connecting rural banks, and this is it. And the program is called I2I. It's a blockchain technology powered innovation. We experimented with that, and with the help of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, we were able to connect small rural bank to the bigger national financial infrastructure. So how it works, it's a secure and safe ledgering so that the small rural banks, even if they don't belong to a mother bank, can actually talk with each other and do transactions in a safe manner. The benefit of that is you get to remit your money faster, even if you don't have a bank account there, but you want to transfer it to another bank that's also operating on blockchain, then it can be easier for you to transfer that. This really works if there's no pera padala, the likes of Palawan Express, right, or LBC, and but there is a small rural bank. So we complement these kind of service for places that cannot be reached by big banks. And with the power of blockchain, we're doing just that. As of today, we have about 89 partners onboarded to the blockchain I2I platform, right? Okay, so the next story that I would like to share with you is on the people, uh, people tech. So there you go. Um, Accelerator is our flagship program designed for that. So if you want to retool yourself to learn a new skill, we do have different tiers of learning. If you just want the basic, then we call it power skills. But if you want to go deep dive and learn more, there's the business skills modules. And if you want to be an expert, there is the tier which we call technical skills. As of today, there are about 5,000 Filipinos who have benefited from the accelerator program. And happy to announce also the winners of this Climathon will be joining the accelerator program. You can avail of any of the available courses in accelerator. So for the top three winners of the Climathon, you'll be happy to know we can enroll you in the accelerator program. That we offered that one also last year. So we said maybe it's working, so we'll offer the same as an additional prize for the Climathon winners this year. Okay. Uh, for the MSMEs, we've also set up a lot of support system. So a lot of webinars for free. We even have a mentoring program for entrepreneurs from our executives, and even some of our board directors are willing to mentor you when it comes to how to set up your e-commerce, how to do digital marketing, how to do product development and design. All of this you can actually avail of through our MSME platforms. We have the global linker, and we do have regular webinars and learning sessions targeted for you. The biggest we've staged so far was the Laban Negociante Summit. It was a 3-day jam-packed event, and a lot of Filipino entrepreneurs participated. And it's not just, about the conference and people talking, because after that, there was a follow-through. So a lot of small business people being connected with each other. And the good thing about that is there is a platform in Union Bank called Global Linker, which connects you to participants in other countries like in the Asia Pacific region. So there's kind of an ecosystem that supports you on that. And speaking of ecosystem, the next slide would show you that the next one. We've really set up, these kinds of financial support. If you are an online seller and you need a capital, we can lend you for as low as 5,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos just to help you set up your online business, right? And as of today, we've already disbursed 3.5 billion pesos for about 40,000 entrepreneurs for the CCAP. And for the City Savings Bank, that would cover the SME and microfinance loans to the tune of 2.3 billion pesos, right? Okay. And then I always highlight this story whenever we talk about building the capability of people, because Global Linker, CCAP, Centro is our online shop builder, and then Box is the payment gateway. It's something that you don't have to look for other providers already. Here in Union Bank, all of these services are packaged for you. Call it a one-stop shop. You now have the financial support through the loans. You have the ecosystem, learning from how other entrepreneurs are also doing their work, exchange of information, right? And establishing your network. And then there's Centro. You don't have to hire a web developer because Centro is a DIY online shop builder. It will help you design your own selling website, and then you can feature your products there. And because there is a payment gateway also, we incorporated that into the design already, right? So you have your own online shop already, they buy the product from you there, and then the payment gateway is already incorporated in the design, diba? So it's really a one-stop shop, and we made it easier for you. So it's innovation, and this really came about because we've been talking to our stakeholders and customers, and because of their feedback, we were able to come out with these products. To come up with these products, I mean. Okay, I'm just down to my last two slides. No, I would like to feature a customer, a stakeholder by the name of Eloisa. Eloisa, 10 years ago, participated in the forerunner of Global Linker, which we called Eureka. So before the pandemic and before online payments became the thing that the people normally use, we go around the different provinces of the Philippines teaching e-commerce. And that was in partnership with the Department of Trade and Industry, because there was a target for around 250,000 Filipinos to be to become e-commerce players, right? And it so happened up in the north, Eloisa was one of the participants. So she learned about how to set up the e-commerce. Fast forward to today, happy to know that she applied her learnings from Eureka and set up her own social enterprise. She doesn't like to be called it as a social enterprise, but it is a business. But the business that she's running is actually creating social good. Why? Because the model of her business is that she helps farmers, especially right now. No? And then the farmers produce, get transported directly to the customer. So there's no more middleman. And how does she do that? To the power of online transactions. So she has a website. The produce are featured there. She takes care of the marketing and promotion. And then, of course, the availability of the produce. And then it talks directly to the customers. So no more middleman. So she's managing that for all the farmers there. The price, of course, and then the profits goes directly to the farmers. Of course, she uses the Union Bank mobile app and some of the features of the portal for Union Bank customers. So it really cuts on the cost, while at the same time helps people earn more revenues. Or in the on her case, a lot of farmers are now getting the correct revenues due to them because the price is correct, and then they don't have to go to a middleman, and that adds din kasi to the price of the product, right? So Eloise has been doing that, and today she is helping also women entrepreneurs, diba? So meron na siyang advocacy rin from farmers, and then empowering women as e-commerce players. So there. So what we're trying to say here is it really pays to build the capability, to set up the knowledge, and to influence the behavior. Because in the case of Eloisa, she does have the multiplier effect. once she's set up, she's able to help a lot of people, while of course, generating revenues for her own business, at the same time creating social good. So there, Eloisa. Uh, Lastly, since this is also Climathon, we thought of balancing our partners. So happy to share with you that this year, in the next slide, you can see the new partners we've had. So there's Plastic Bank. Plastic Bank is again a social enterprise that's focused on recycling plastics. And not only that, they are using technology to build financial literacy of their beneficiaries. And this is where Union Bank is happy to partner with them. So while we are uh, building the capability of people, we are also helping reduce the impact of plastics on our planet. So there. We've also partnered with Humble Sustainability. The way they work is that they inject sustainability practices in the entire ecosystem. So like Plastic Bank, they also collect wastes, but they expanded it to not just plastics, but other materials that can still be upcycled. And these materials go to their partner designers, so they can actually be repurposed into a furniture, into clothing. So the idea here is to close the loop, and that's your circular living, circular economy. And Humble Sustainability is doing just that. And they're also designing an app and using technology to connect the different layers, from the designers to sellers also, and to the donors of the waste materials. And then lastly, we have also partnered with Globe when it comes to disposing electronic waste. Because as you know, and I am saying this, in the digital transformation, we're encouraging you to do online transactions, right? And you use what? Gadgets, smartphones. And in this day and age, it's so easy for you to change models, diba? So what happens to the gadgets that you don't use anymore? How do you dispose of them properly? Proper disposal of your electronic gadgets is critical because they are also toxic. If they go to the landfill, it will pollute the soil. So there is a proper way for us to do that. And with the auspices of Globe, we have partnered with them so that we gather all your electronic gadgets and then they get disposed of properly. And the proceeds also of the electronic waste can be used to fund the education of some of the students who are into online learning today, right? So it's really completing the cycle. We blur the line. It's not just planet project or environmental project. There's also social component, right? Financial literacy and digital literacy. So there, thank you for listening to me. Those are some of the examples that I've shared with you today. And I'm just so happy that we've always partnered with Climathon because we think alike, our values are aligned, and the purpose and objectives that we want to achieve have the same end goal, right? So what the key message that I would like to say here is, you know, sustainability can also be about people more than anything else. Yes, we help the planet, but if we don't help the people that will take care of the planet, the efforts might just go to waste, right? So for Union Bank, it is through Tech Up Pilipinas. It is about people-centered, people-focused sustainability program, so that once they have the correct knowledge, they already have the right skills, the capability. Ultimately, they will co-create and design solutions with us that make our planet better. Thank you so much for listening, and I am wishing all of you good luck. And I'm excited to know who's going to be the winner for Climathon 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Dave. It's always a pleasure having you. And I hope that you also had fun judging our pitches for this year's Climathon Pasig. Our next talk aims to make the topic of sustainable development more relatable to everyday Filipinos. How indeed does it affect our day-to-day lives? Our speaker is the host of the Sustainarumble podcast. She and her family also founded the nonprofit organization One Kainta food program, which has provided about 1.1 million food hampers to over 400,000 people in the Philippines since the start of the pandemic. She also started the Society of Sustainability Practitioners, which is the first association of sustainability professionals in the country. She is also currently the newly appointed country manager for Singapore-based sustainability advisory firm CSR Works International. More than that, she was also our host for last year's Climathon Pasig. It's so great to have you back, everyone. Please give a virtual round of applause to Ms. Shawntel Nieto.
When we talk about sustainable development in the Philippines or in general, we often talk about what can be done about it and what it means. But one of the most common questions we encounter and sometimes can't answer is, why does it matter? Nakakain ba yun? Lalo na ngayong pandemic at napakadaming kailangan na asikasuing problema. Why should we talk about and care about sustainable development? With that, let me backtrack to maybe a millennia or so ago and have you guys think about what the first sign of civilization is or was. When you think about the very first thing that signaled, okay, civilization was present here or is starting here, what do you often think about? Do you think about grand buildings, the Aztecs, Machu Picchu? Do you think about tools and barter, or even the hieroglyphics we see on walls and surfaces? Well, researchers and scholars who really look into ancient civilizations would often disagree and say that the very first mark of a civilization is found in broken bones, a broken femur that was broken and was healed. Not the first thing you think about, but it's something that I want you guys to brew in your heads while we discuss sustainable development in the Philippines and in general. Now let's talk about your mornings. When you first woke up today, how was it? How was your bed? When you went into the shower, how was the water? When you looked into the refrigerator, how was the food? How did you find your food today? Was it something similar to the leftmost part of this picture? Did you get it from the ground and sow and harvest? Or was it more like the right side of the screen? You just opened your refrigerator and got whatever was there. Most likely it was the latter. And it's because as a society, we've developed a very intricate system or an intricate web of systems that allow us to have access to a lot of our needs in a click of a button, in a grab of a hand. It's very simple. And that has allowed us to really go from here, from pre-colonial, historic as hunters and gatherers, to the very complicated and complex society we have now, with a lot of our needs very much present and available for us at the tip of our fingers. We've allowed ourselves to glow up as society. And that's pretty much what development has given us. It's allowed us to take, make, and produce and use so much more than our ancestors could have possibly dreamed of. But somewhere along the line, things have gone wrong, as we pretty much might have seen and noticed. We take and make and use so many things, but we dispose of them as much as easily as we create them. And that has led not only to huge amounts of pollution and waste, but also to byproducts. So things we also create alongside what we initially want to, and that harm the earth. So we don't just create plastic bottles and then throw them into the ocean so that the fish can die because of them, but we also emit greenhouse gases that warm our earth more. So we make things, we pollute, and then we create byproducts. And that has allowed us to deplete our resources and also harm the environment we need to survive. In short, paubos na at pasira na yung mundo natin. And the irony of it all, The irony in development as we see it now is that in our pursuit to produce and have more, we actually end up losing and taking away much more. So with that, gumising na tayo, pinag-isipan natin kung ano yung kinain natin, ano lakad natin ngayon? Oops, sorry about that. Let me just pause. To lose more. And we've seen it evidently here in the Philippines. The Philippines is the third worst plastic polluter of the oceans. We have a sachet economy, meaning we rely on sachets in order to give people access to needs such as shampoos, conditioners, soy sauce. We also need to rehabilitate our waters. We pollute our waters. A lot of fishes are unable to live in our waters. There's a decline in Philippine agriculture because of droughts, storms, and even just like the low standard of living we give our farmers. Several years ago, when I was a child, Ondoy came and people said it was a one in a millennia thing. Just this past year alone, we've had Raleigh. Last year, we've had Ulysses. We've had things repeating over and over again. It's become normal, but it's not. And up until now, 20 million Filipinos still live under poverty. It's clear that regardless of what technological innovations we have and we push, there's still a huge need for better forms of development in the country. Because up until now, our development is unequal. It favors some at the expense of the many. And whether we admit it or not, our decisions as people and our decisions as leaders play a huge part in it as well. So saan ang lakad natin ngayon? Gumising tayo, pinag-usapan natin kung ano yung kakainin natin, pinag-usapan natin yung mga problema natin. Saan lakad natin ngayon? This is where sustainable development comes in. Sustainable development talks about meeting the needs of the current generation without necessarily compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. In a sense, it talks about being able to provide ourselves with what we need. So we have water, we have food, we have electricity and all that, but without acting in such a way that our resources, our storage gets so depleted that our children or grandchildren or great-great-great-grandchildren would no longer be able to have access to it. Because as we've seen over the past decades, and I'm sure you all already know this, the way we operate now is taking so much away from the environment, from other species, and from future generations. So if you look at the diagram, we can see that this isn't the usual triple bottom line diagram we see, no, where we see circles meeting in the middle, much like a Venn diagram. What we see here is development that utilizes the economy. So it utilizes the systems we have now to take, create, and use different goods so we can have our needs. We can have our food, we can have our water, we can have our shelter, but in such a way that it's used to further the social aspect. It's used to further develop communities and societies and people, but all within the bigger sphere of the environment. Everything has a boundaries. There are limits to growth. There are limits to what we can take and consume. And we have to understand that what we do in the economy has to be for the benefit of our society, the common good. And it has to be within the bigger scope of what the world and the environment can actually take in and do. And this is a really, really great diagram that I absolutely love. It's the Donut Economics by Rathworth. And it talks about how sustainable development is about being here in this really nice green space in the middle, where we do enough to provide for the social foundation we need as humans. So meaning we get to cater to our needs for energy, for housing, for social equity and income, but we act in such a way that we don't go beyond the limits of our world. We don't go beyond the temperature limits of climate change. We don't go beyond, land conversion and biodiversity loss. We respect the boundaries there are in this world. And that's what sustainable development is. And that's the kind of development that the SDGs, for instance, or the 5 Ps try to further. These are a lot. No? The SDGs are a lot. they just overwhelm you, but they are meant to serve as targets, but also as guides to show us what else needs to be done now and what can be done still. It shows us where we can go, because as humans, we all have our inclinations. I am very passionate about poverty alleviation and sustainability, but not everyone is that. Others are more for the environment. Others are more for a particular species of animals. And the SDGs and the 5Ps can help as guides and pillars to show us, where we can fit in to that whole path towards a more sustainable future for our society, our country, and generally the world. And with that, what are ways by which we can further sustainable development as change makers and as people now? For one, we can always, raise awareness, join communities, create conversations of people just trying to make a change, just trying to understand things better. There's always something we can learn, always something we can talk about, and always something we can do to really utilize, awareness and education to further action for sustainable development. We can also look into, our ability to create and leverage on technology and innovations to help make things more transparent. So more transparent governance, more efficient supply chains, more sustainable activities, more engaged citizens. There's so much potential in technologies now, and we have to leverage on it in order to make systems better. We can also start initiatives and organizations that work on the ground and with communities to help them have better access to their basic needs. On a more day-to-day basis, we can just continue being active citizens, really hold power accountable, and also engage in the conversations that bring about the decisions and the designs that lead to our country now. We can talk about, for instance, how our cities are designed, which roads are built, which highways are built. Is that right? Is that wrong? We have to remain engaged. We might not be in the high top tier leadership positions, but we also still have a say. And I guess for my last 2 points, we further sustainable development when we use our daily votes wisely. Voting isn't just during election seasons. We have what we call our daily vote, which I see as pebbles. It doesn't matter how hard or how soft you throw a pebble. If you throw it on water, it'll create ripples. All of our actions and our words and our deeds and our thoughts, they create ripples far beyond what's immediately seen. When we buy something, when we tweet something, when we act a certain way, it impacts a lot more things than we think. Use those pebbles. Use them wisely. Use them to further sustainable development. Sustainable development that, let's go back to the FIMUR, that actually cares for the common good, that actually furthers society, each other. Because that's something that we've forgotten over the past years. We've forgotten what it really means to be a civilization, to be a society, and to develop that society. It's not all about GDPs or numbers. It's not all about the next big innovation, the next big tech thing, the next most convenient service. It's about finding what's broken. It's about finding what's wounded and about healing it. It's about being there for each other, both now and in the future. Sustainable development. It's about meeting the needs of the day, whether it's in healthcare or in food or in just being there for other people without compromising or basically while also taking care and making sure that future generations will also still have the same opportunities and access as we have. It's about taking care of each other now and about taking care of each other or of whoever else will come in the future. If we keep that in mind, if we remember that, if we remember the FIMUR, maybe from here on, we can make decisions, take actions, start initiatives, and overall create programs and systems that further development in a way that serves all, that's sustainable, that's just and equitable, and that would be better for all as well. Nakakain ba yun? Yes, because at the end of the day, makakakain lang tayo pag lahat tayo ay nakakakain na. We could try to hide from it, but at the end of the day, if one of us is unable to survive, there will come a day when all of us would not be able to either. And that's not the track or a path we want to go to. So let's work towards more sustainable forms of development. If you want to go more in depth into how sustainable development is in the Philippines, from households to mobility to agriculture to general urban design, do check out our podcast at Sustainarumble on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We go in depth on each sector every Monday. So check us out there. And if you want to shoot me a message, if you have any questions, you can message me at Shawntel Nieto on all social media platforms. Thank you and have a great rest of the Climathon.
And now we are proud to present the 10 teams competing for Climathon Pasig 2021. Team Hortons with Andrea Abendido, Nicole Covarrubias, and Juliana Navarro. Team Minerva with Sofia Marie Maulion, Gabrielle Ann Carion, Paula Patrice Hamoy, and Catherine Beatriz Salazar. Team Climate with Sab Samper and Viola Fe Corpus. Team Saniteam with Jen Raniel Santos, Earl Enriquez, Lance Baluntas, Angelica Rapacon, Megan Burgos, and Geraldine De Guia. Team Padyak, Pasig Angat Dapat Yumaya Pa, with Zuriel Francis Ocampo, Patrick Kadindig, and Romina Michi Amparo. Team Ecotomes with Eileen Filipino Rodriguez, Jerome Montemayor, Andrea Marie Almonte, Paula Garcia, and Mark Teran. Team Green Engineers with Kurt Simbulan, Kate Trinidad, and Claire Cawagas. Team Green Energy with Anika De Leon, Elise Flores, Alessandra Lim, and Medwin Uy. Team Climate Crew with Noli San Agustin. And lastly, we have Team Ensemble with Vince Ivan Ilagan, Annalyn Balog, Ayla Marie Bandola, Kim Nicole Divina, Muriel Sofia Mejia, and Ranielo Ramudaro. Congratulations to the finalists of Climathon Pasig 2021. And for those who weren't able to make it, as we said earlier, don't lose hope. This isn't the end of the line, as we are sure that as long as you keep working hard on your idea, you keep refining it, you keep putting it out there to get feedback, you'll find collaborators and supporters who will help you turn your idea into reality. After all, we all have one goal, which is to help our planet Earth. So to everyone, to all our viewers, tune in again tomorrow, for we will hear from the Climate Change Commission of the Philippines and from Miriam College to hear about their different sustainability initiatives within campus from a middle school POV. So very, very interested to hear about that. Until then, this has been Trish Esteban. Have a good morning, everyone.